Hello, dear Jazz. Hi, welcome back. I am so sorry. It has been months and months since I've picked up the camera and filmed. I cannot remember when the last vlog went up. I know I did a couple of like mini entries that I was gonna smush together. I just never got around to doing it, and I am so sorry because we are now in March 2020. I have a feeling the last time I did one of these was 2019, like maybe October. So I'm so sorry. I am going to try and get back in the habit of doing these more regularly. And yeah, I miss doing them as well. I miss doing them. So I hope you're well. We've sort of been speaking a little bit this morning, not massively, because there's this kind of new thing going around. Obviously everybody is well aware of it and everything. Coronavirus, Covid-19. So you and I were just speaking this morning about if it's affecting one another. Touch wood, it's not at the moment. And I'm glad for you guys that, you know, things are pretty much normal. For us, I don't know anybody. I'm lucky enough not to know anybody who has been affected or is self-isolating or anything. And in terms for you, I know some people who are working from home, but that's purely because, you know, they're able to, they're lucky enough to, they're not self-isolating, they're just, you know, taking the precautions and everything. And I definitely think if you can work from home, then do. I am not lucky enough to be able to do that. So I'm at the restaurant. Currently, it is dead. Well, not dead, but we are definitely seeing like fewer people kind of come in or book or do large parties and whatnot. So I think we're definitely seeing a little decrease. Last kind of 2 weeks roughly, we've just not been hitting sales or anything. I do think if it continues this way, they may even say let's just not risk it, because although the government haven't enforced it yet, in Italy restaurants are only open till 4 in the afternoon and then they close for the evening trade. We've not had any type of thing like that been announced here in the UK yet. So for now we are still open, and I think our bosses want to keep us open for as long as possible for obvious reasons. Thankfully no staff member is ill or anything. I was the last person to go on holiday, which was actually last weekend. I went to Disneyland Paris, as you know. It was lovely. I was so scared that it wouldn't actually happen for the whole week, kind of build up to it. I was so getting ready for them to say, no, sorry, we've cancelled your trip. The park is shut. You can't go. But I was so lucky we were able to squeeze it in, because actually this morning when I woke up, they've announced that Walt Disney World and Paris and California, they'll all be shutting this weekend. So they are giving people the chance to, those that are there, to fly home or arrange transport, whatever, to get out of the park, but they're not accepting any new bookings or visitors or anything like that. So me and Haley were incredibly lucky to go when we did. It was a lovely trip. It was lovely. The weather was a bit hideous, like it was raining constantly, and it was so cold. But do you know what? I can't even complain, because we got to see and do everything we wanted to do. And yeah, that is actually our last DLP trip now for a long time, because the next Disney trip we're planning on doing is Walt Disney World, and that's next year for their 50th anniversary of the Magic Kingdom. And then we are sort of discussing Tokyo. So there are 6 parks basically: Shanghai, Hong Kong, Tokyo, Paris, California, Orlando. So we'll have done 3 by the end of next year. I mean, technically we already have done 3, I just don't really remember Florida back in 2000. So we'll have already done 3, and we've heard mixed reviews about Hong Kong and Shanghai, about whether they're, you know, really any good or stuff like that. But Tokyo is meant to be kind of the next best one to Orlando, Cali. It's like up there. So I desperately want to try and get to that one before I turn 30. That would be nice. So yeah, that's kind of the like general news, really. Obviously, coronavirus, they're saying, affects elderly people more, or affects anyone with health conditions and stuff. So thankfully, mum and dad, who I do still live with, touch wood, they are, health wise, they're absolutely fine. But I do just need to make sure I don't come into, too much contact with other people, because I don't want to pass anything on to them. So I'm just trying to keep my distance a little bit, which is a bit odd because I'm living in their house. And every time, they kind of come into a room, I can't walk out, I'll sit in a different room watching TV. But yeah, we just really need it to go away now. Like, the panic and people buying up loo roll and pasta, it's all just a little bit, really. So yeah, that's pretty much life as we know it at the moment. I don't even know if I told you about the wedding. I mean, that seems ridiculous because it happened so long ago. But obviously, Hayley and John got married in October last year. It was beautiful. It was insane. I cried. Everyone else cried. It was so emotional. She had a fantastic time. She and he both looked gorgeous in their kind of dress and the suits. It was amazing. It really was. And I'm sure you've seen the photos by now. I'm sorry, my hand is shaking so badly. Haven't held a phone like this for so long. Like, I've forgotten how to do it. So my hand keeps wobbling. I'm changing hands. But then, like, the height and everything else is changing too. So I do apologise about that. Yes, so the wedding was absolutely beautiful. Loved it. Friends-wise, Becca is engaged. Again, I don't know if you knew that. I may have told you. She's engaged. Adam proposed in November, and I believe they are just planning things at the moment. They don't actually have a date yet, but I have a feeling it's going to be end 21, maybe 22, like January. Sophie and Paul are currently in Germany, and I'm not sure when they're meant to come back, but the longer they're out there, the more I'm going to be a bit more worried about them in terms of, are they going to be able to get home. Jess is okay. I was arranging to meet her, but again, as things stand, if things kind of go on lockdown, it's going to be harder to travel to her and stuff. Gemma's Gemma, really. She's doing what she usually does. I haven't seen her in a while, purely because of Paris and stuff, but I'll try and meet up with her in the next couple of weeks if I can, unless, again, she works at a hospital, and she actually works at the hospital where they've diagnosed someone with it, or someone died from it. I'm not entirely sure which way. It's not her department, like, she works on the stroke ward. So in theory, she wouldn't come into contact with this person. However, she has friends, colleagues and stuff. So maybe I'll risk seeing her. Maybe I'll just say, we'll Skype. So yeah, everyone is really, really good. The weather, touch wood, I think spring has sprung. We have a bunch of daffodils there. And kind of when you go out now, everywhere you look, there's nice yellow daffodils around. So I think it's definitely getting warmer. It's definitely getting brighter in the mornings and lighter in the evenings, which is fantastic. Obviously, our next holiday was going to be Malta in June. I'm not sure we're going to be able to go. So it was booked for 2 weeks, start of June. But it really depends on how the next kind of month plays out. I mean, it's still so far away. I'd like to think they will sort something by then. But if there really is no guarantee, I don't think mum and dad want to risk it, which is fine, and I completely understand that. But then that is 2 weeks of a holiday that we're not going to have, which is going to be really, really sad. Thankfully, if they do cancel it, I could just say to work, look, I will work instead, and I can get my holiday back rather than lose it. Or I could just take 2 weeks off and stay at home and do nothing. But yeah, to not have an intense heat this year is going to be challenging. It'll be the first year where we've never gone abroad, like abroad as a family holiday, which will be strange. So try not to think about that moment, trying to stay optimistic, and a lot can happen. A lot can happen. There's not really that much else to say. I just kind of thought as we were texting, I'd pick up the camera. I desperately need to, if we do go on lockdown with work and, you know, I have to stay at home, I will get like minimum pay, because if I'm not self-isolating and I'm not ill and I want to go to work but they won't let me, they do technically have to pay. So it won't be my full contracted hours. It'll be somewhere like in between sick pay, maternity pay, like low level pay, which, you know, I can cope with because I live at home. All I have to do is pay rent. I'm sure my parents would even swing it if, you know, I couldn't stretch to it. But for people like my boss, or pretty much everyone but one other person, they all have a mortgage. They all have at least one kid, if not two. Like, they have a wife and family to support and everything. So it's going to be really, really hard. And not just for hospitality people, but those that are in retail as well. Like, the whole thing's just going to get chaotic, I imagine. So yeah, if I have to stay at home, then I'm lucky enough that I've got stuff to kind of keep me occupied here. I'm never the type of person who can get bored. Like, that just doesn't happen to me. I always have something that I can or will or want to do. So for example, 2 weeks, no, just after Christmas, I think it was, Mum and I say Mum and I, it's been me mostly, I bought, let's see if I can show you these things. So they, obviously it's a puzzle, obviously, but they are Disney inspired by an artist called Thomas Kincaid, and I've literally gone and bought like 12 puzzles maybe. So that's a nice thing to kind of keep me occupied to do. Disney Plus comes out next week or the week after, which again I can binge watch till cows come home, basically. I need to update my Disneyness in my room because that has grown significantly since the last time I probably ever showed you. So yeah, there's always stuff to do. I need to do a massive photo sort out from the last 3 holidays and the wedding, which I just haven't got around to doing either. Plenty of stuff. So in a way, I'm getting ready for it to happen. And then at least I can't be shocked by it. Not that much else to say. In the weeks coming up, so Mother's Day is next Sunday. Normally it's our busiest day in the restaurant for the whole year. But this year we don't think it's going to happen for us. We've got quite a few bookings. Nowhere near as many as last year. We obviously had the benefit of our neighbouring branch closing last year, so we kind of got their customers as well. Whereas this year, obviously, coronavirus, no one around us has closed. It's not great. Who would bring their elderly mother out for a meal if, you know, she's going to get sick? So they'd probably stay home and cook, or who knows. But then in July, so we're jumping quite a few months, but it is Mum's 60th this year. So Hayley and I have organised a kind of visit/trip to Highclere Castle, which I don't know if you've ever watched it. It's the Downton Abbey set, shall we say. Everything was filmed in that castle, and you can kind of do a tour of it. You can have afternoon tea there if you want to. And, you know, Mum really loved the TV series. She's watched the movie that came out in the cinema. So we want to give her that as a nice kind of, this is the thing that we're going to be doing, and we're going to be doing as a family. But then on her actual birthday, we're going to be going for a meal. We're going to pretend that I'm working. Hayley and John can't make it, but we're all going to do something the following day, so that she then just believes it's a meal just for her and Dad. And when they get to the restaurant, we're all going to be there. We're all going to surprise her. And we've already arranged with Heidi what her cake is going to look like. And I'm so excited because you know Heidi has done Hayley's 30th and Hayley's hen do cupcakes. And I'm so excited for her to do Mum's. Like, I cannot wait to see the final thing. So yeah, that's all been in the planning and the making in the last couple of days actually. So I have been quite busy. Yeah, so we'll see. I hope you are well, and I hope Sam is well. If and whenever you get a chance, feel free to pop a video back because I'd love to see your face. I'd love to know what's going on in your life. And yeah, I promise I will get better at doing these again and kind of sticking to them more regularly. I realise I've missed the first 3 months of this year and the last 3 months of last year. But hey, no one's perfect, right? So I will speak to you soon, and I love you lots. Bye!